Hello there, friends. We'll get started in just a minute here. Oh, I'm coming, friends. Ah, there I am. Hey, friends, it is your friend in flowers, Lisa Mason Ziegler, having a little tech issue as always. So good to be here with you guys tonight. And I want to talk a little bit about cool flowers, maybe answer some questions, clear up some myths, some misunderstandings. And then I'm going to ultimately take you inside the Cool Flower course. We have a special offer that's been rolled out over the last few days, and tonight is the last night. And so I thought it would be a great idea to talk about it a little bit, and then we're going to go inside and actually see what it looks like, and then actually look at one of the sessions, And, I really wanted to talk about why and how Cool Flowers. So if you're not familiar, Cool Flowers is the name of a book that I wrote, and it's about a group of flowers called Cool Season Hardy Annuals. And they're so misunderstood. I know that I misunderstood the heck out of them. They just aren't quite as simple to figure out as warm season tender annuals are. And so most of us literally just kind of say, well, they don't grow very good here. So they just push them aside. And friends, I'm here to tell you that it is a group of flowers that can literally change spring in your gardens, literally change your spring in your flower farming business. Because it is some of the most coveted and beloved, beautiful spring blooming flowers. We're talking about bells of Ireland and sweet peas and snapdragons and larkspur and poppies. I mean, the stuff that people are like, oh, I've always wanted to grow those. And friends, I can attest that most everybody everywhere can grow them. It's just that we perhaps plant them at different times. And that's the snafu, right? You know, and so this group of flowers doesn't just thrive, or they don't just survive cool to cold weather. They actually thrive in cool to cold weather. It's like their jam. It's like what makes them successful. And they're just some of our very, very favorites. And when you plant them at their proper timing, they literally kind of go by themselves. They don't really go by. When you plant them at the right time into their conditions and give them what they need, they literally will be some of the easiest care flowers that you have ever grown. And you know what else happens when you plant them on time? They typically, y'all, I have notes to kind of keep me on point. That leads to earlier blooming, longer stems, and more of them. It's just the plants are so much more abundant because they're prepared before they actually have to start blooming. And you know what else that leads to is more disease and pest resistance. They're just basically overall healthier plants. And we know for a fact that puny plants, for whatever reason, wrong timing, we plant cool season flowers once spring has started and it's warm outside, that is not their time to be planted. They're just naturally punier. And when we have punier plants, we know that that is a real run the red flag up the pole that says, hey, I'm over here. I'm stressed. I'm tired. Come and get me pests and diseases. And literally, it is that simple. So we know that planting whatever group of flowers you're talking about, planting on time really leads to healthier plants and less work. And the quality of cool season hardy annuals planted at the proper time for your garden, the quality is unsurpassable, right? And I find that most people just pass them off and say, well, they don't. And I kind of did this way back in the beginning, right? I I was told literally by a horticulture teacher here in town at our local college that you just cannot grow those flowers here. I was talking about sweet peas and snapdragons. He literally told me you cannot grow those here. It wasn't even like maybe it's not possible. Literally told me that. And then I came across Lynn Bazinski, who wrote the Flower Farmer book. And she just mentioned a couple of times in that book, which is the book that started the real flower farming movement like 30 years ago, that you could plant perhaps some cool season hardy annuals in the fall. And that's what really lit me on fire to learn more about them. And I find that most growers and even home gardeners kind of stay in the gray area. They just never progress to try to figure it out, to find out when they actually bloom. And, I want to just tell you a little bit about where I grow so you'll understand that what I'm talking about can apply to you too. So I'm in southeastern Virginia. I'm in zone 8A, which only really matters when you're trying to decide what you can fall plant. It's really about your frost dates. But I grow everything outside in a giant garden. I have no hoop or greenhouses. That's what people assume when they hear me talking about this. They think, well, she's growing in houses. I cannot have houses and structures. I'm literally in the middle of the city, y'all. And so what I have done the last 3 decades of pursuing flower farming is that I have pushed it to its limits, which led me to just really relate to most people, particularly flower farmers that are like me that don't have structures, and for home gardeners that are just looking to fill their spring gardens up. And, if I just want to talk for a second about flower farmers. So, flower farmers, spring is the highest demand for cash crops. That's when you need to have as many flowers as you possibly can during that window. It starts really right after Valentine's Day, but most of us don't have anything for Valentine's Day or even in March for me. But the months of April, May, and June are like party house, weddings, events, high demand in the cut flower industry. And when you plug into that industry, you just overcome so many barriers that you may come up against in other seasons when the demand's not quite so high. And guess what? Cool flowers, most of them, not all of them, most of them bloom in actual spring. And one thing that I have just found from teaching people for all this time, thousands of people all over the world, about the cool flower planting windows, is that it seems too simple to just hit the right planting time and follow a few other little stay in the guide rails of cool season gardening. How successful it can be. We tend to think it's got to take more than that. And in fact, that's just not really true. And, I attribute my whole success of me as a business person, growing my little cut flower farm into a high production in the middle of the city, went on to write books, teach people, produce online courses, have a large online or an educational platform on our website. And you know what I attribute all that to is the fact that I just so happened, it wasn't planned, I just so happened to walk into that first flower shop right in April. It was actually late April. And I walked in there and I had sweet peas and sweet William, and I swept him off his feet. And he went on to become like a mentor to me because he wanted the flowers that I was growing, right? He didn't have access to those kind of flowers. You can't get that kind of stuff shipped in. Back then, we hardly had any flower farmers, y'all. But me walking in the high demand time, he was quick to buy, quick to support me and help me. And when you have that kind of affirmation, y'all, it's easy to keep doing it over and over. And, we now have some growers that are kind of tweaking their business models to their only selling cool season hardy annuals during that harvest season. It's just the easiest season of the year. Anybody that's like right now suffering from slow sales because everybody's on vacation and you haven't made that connection with a commercial customer to be their staple supplier, you know, Cool Flowers has really attributed to really helping so many flower farmers. But let's talk about home gardeners. You know, what we have some entomologists, those are bug scientists, y'all that don't know it, that have come to our farm. And one of the things, we have large communities of native bees here and beneficial insects. And in talking about that and figuring it out, they attributed, you know, three things to us doing that. First off, we use no pesticides. We don't even use organic pesticides here. That's the number one thing. But secondly, we provide blooms so early in the season. You know, we have Iceland poppies and bachelor buttons out in the garden, typically in late March, early April. And that's when they're desperate. They're out there looking for food and shelter. And we, by rolling out, as I say, the red carpet, with having a garden full of blooms, it gets them into your garden earlier. They start setting up housekeeping. They start reproducing in your garden. And then the third component of what has just sealed the deal for us is I have a native plant and tree, shrub, and plant border that surrounds my entire 2 3/4 acres. It's like when you see a drone footage of my farm, there's like this frame of vegetation. And those three things have changed the world on my farm for creatures. So if you're a home gardener, Cool Flowers are just as important to you. So, you know, what are the resources that you already have available to you? So my book, Cool Flowers, which I just so happen to have one right here, y'all. My book, Cool Flowers, believe it or not, is 11 years old. Still can't believe it's been 11 years. And I have learned so much since this book was published. And we've added more cool season hardy annuals to the mix. But if you're just learning about cool season hardy annuals, this is the first baby step. Cool Flowers is like, it's an easy read, y'all. It's not a very big book. It's 160 pages. This explains the basic concept. And this really just shares the actual cool flower concept and how to practice it, right? Like the first like, you know, first grade, y'all, right? And then another resource that you have available is my book, The Cut Flower Handbook. And so this includes warm and cool season flowers, and it just really helps you to wrap your head about succession planting, right? How you marry all of that together. And that is a huge help for that. It's got 66 featured flowers in there. 41 of them are cool flowers, or cool season hardy annuals, we should say. And the other 25 are warm. But here's the thing. When you purchase your books from the Gardener's Workshop, we include this bonus PDF, which has 6 more flowers, 5 of which are cool flowers. So you're actually getting 46 cool flowers. So this becomes a great reference book. And then we have the Cool Flowers from Seed to Harvest course, which is what I'm here tonight to kind of like highlight to you. And so this course outlines the basics. It outlines, I'm looking at my notes, y'all. It covers the Cool Flower framework, troubleshooting, the 36 flower profiles that are field video demonstrations, y'all. This is a beautiful, beautiful course. Plus seed sowing, stage to harvest, and where to make the cut. We spent an entire season, Lane of Seed Talk, she and I co-host that podcast together, Lane Angelo and her filming husband, Harach, filmed us. I mean, we were out in the garden at 5:30 and 6 a.m. Every morning for an entire Cool Flower season to just get, where do you make the cut? What stage do you make the cut? What are any extra other special tips that you might have? This course is packed. And then, my friends, we're going to get to the sneak peek in just a minute, but I want to tell you what the actual offer is. So the Cool Flower course is normally $349. We have a special offer that ends tonight, it's July 31st. It ends tonight at midnight Eastern time for the course for $199, but that is not all of what you actually get. We have actually also included with this special offer, I made a special bonus training that's called Mastering Cool Flowers Expert Tips and Techniques. It is my training of how I live with cool flowers. It takes the whole big picture look. I mean, we go through and talk about advanced techniques for cool flowers, meaning mulching and pathways and weed prevention strategies, as well as, I demonstrate how to build a low tunnel and just a lot of the stuff that just makes cool flowers so much more successful. But I also include with this bonus training a visual design. It is my hand-drawn plan of an explanation of the big picture of how I add cool flowers into my warm season. It's kind of like the big picture of succession planting, which I find that most people so overcomplicate succession planting. That's why nobody does it, y'all. It's like, and this is, I'm dyslexic. I don't know if y'all knew that or not. And we tend to simplify and line stuff up. And that's what I did with succession planting. I just got rid of all the smoke, made it black and white. And this drawing and training in the bonus that comes with the Cool Flower course really will give you that 30,000-foot view to like, oh, I mean, we just make it so complicated. So we got some big thunder boomers going on here if I suddenly leave the view of you here. So I am going to take you inside the course for a little look around, and let me first do this slowly so I don't cut y'all off. I am a farmer, not a tech person. All right, so I am going to add this to the stage, and then I have to go over to it. I think I need to make this full screen so y'all can see better. Oh, I can't do that. Wait a minute. All right, let me get rid of my picture. There we go. That'll make it bigger. Okay, so when you purchase the course and log into your online course library, you land in your online, or there'll be if you have more than one of our courses, there'll be a row of what your courses are, and you click on the Cool Flowers from Seed to Harvest, and this is where you actually land. And so this is home base for the course, and I'm just going to scroll around for a minute and just kind of show you. So there's 64 lessons in this course. We recommend that you start right here at the welcome. That kind of gives you the lay of the land. And I always have to go back over to StreamYard, y'all. Make sure y'all can still see and hear me. Okay. So these top 5 things are just really really explaining, and I highly recommend you start right here and watch these 5 things, right? Then this is where the syllabus, which let's see what that looks like. The syllabus is the basic outline of doing this through StreamYard. Anyway, see right here where it says hand.
Hey folks, if you can hear me, I just wanted to let you know that I think Lisa may have had to get cut off there accidentally by the storm at her house. So I'm going to text her and see if I can let her know perhaps she can restart And but if she's lost internet access, we might have to cut it short. Let me just check. Thanks for hanging in there with us. Okay, folks, I haven't heard back from Lisa yet, but I wanted to let you all know that I did post the link to the special offer that she was talking about related to the Cool Flowers online course and bonus training. That special deal, it's the best one we've ever offered on this course, and it's ending tonight at midnight Eastern time. So if you want to jump on that, I did post the link in the comments there. It's also, if you go to our website, it's also in the yellow banner at the top of our website too. So I think Lisa's going to try to get back on here. But meanwhile, if you guys have specific questions about the course, or if you have questions about growing cool flowers, if you feel like there's something, stopping you, related to being able to grow cool flowers, we'd love to address those types of questions too. So feel free to post those in the comments as well. And I think I have heard from Lisa now that she does not have internet service anymore, unfortunately. So I'm really sorry, you guys. I think we're going to have to call it quits on this session. But if you do have a question that is either related to the course or about how you can grow cool flowers in your region or in your situation, please go ahead and post those in the comments. We'll go into the comments for these live events and reply to any of those. So I want to thank you all very much for joining us tonight. I hope you take advantage of the resources that Lisa talked about earlier. And of course, you'll be able to watch the replay of this on both Facebook and YouTube. So thank you so much. Have a good night.